Hi, welcome to Room to Grieve podcast. We're your hosts, Karen and Bec. Grab yourself a cuppa, find a comfortable spot, and we'll journey through grief together.
Hi, are you okay?
Yes, long time since it's been just me and you.
No, I've missed you.
I know. It seems a bit crazy. Got no one to introduce. So, what we're going to talk about today?
Well, first of all, fantastic that you're doing so much walking.
I know I'm getting good at it.
Yeah, but I've still not seen any video evidence on Instagram.
Well, that's too much effort. Okay, I'll try. But I genuinely do go every day. Still not at past 5,000 steps, but you know.
Oh my God, but it's from 150 steps to 5,000. Yeah. That's not bad, you know. That's like the equivalent of somebody running a marathon.
It is. And I mean, I even rang you at 10 o'clock the other night because I went out when I got back from dinner, didn't I?
Yeah, I was really impressed with that.
Yeah. See? I'm doing good.
Yeah, brilliant. And also, on the 8th of July, we did a podcast. Just refer you back to it. You had a leopard print number on, or a cheetah, whatever you want to call it.
You wanted to see my hat.
Yeah, we still haven't seen the safari hat.
Okay.
We've had emails asking to see the safari hat.
I know. I will get Simon. It's Sunday today. I will get Simon to get it down while he's not at work. I promise you. I will get some pictures of a safari hat.
Right.
I mean,
we want to see it on the next podcast.
Okay.
When it's just me and you.
Okay, we'll do that.
We don't want to scare a guest off that you come up in a bloody safari hat.
I think I'm right weird.
Yeah. Well, let's probably think that anyway.
Well, I'm coming out to Spain, to yours in Spain, aren't I, in a couple of weeks? So...
You're not bringing your safari hat to Spain.
Oh, I am.
Oh, you're not.
I'm not.
No, you're not.
Listen, I'm not getting some.
You're going on. You're going on Ryan Scare. You ain't got room for a safari hat.
No,
it probably cost you an extra 40 quid to wear a safari hat.
We were so tight. We booked one flight with no luggage and one flight with hand luggage, and we're just going to share a hand luggage suitcase. Stuff's at yours. I only need to bring a swimming costume and a few change of clothes.
Yeah, honestly, I just go with a handbag most times.
Yeah, well, that's all Simon's allowed is a handbag, and he's going to take my laptop.
Yeah, I obviously have to take my laptop because I can't afford to buy another one to leave there. But that is the heaviest thing, a laptop and an iPad, and it breaks my back. And my back is aching by the time I get in my rucksack, little tiny rucksack thing. Anyway, over the last few months, we've had months and months with sort of trigger events, haven't we? We've had anniversaries, birthdays, whatever, and all that. And we've got through them months. And we honestly thought, didn't we, that the months without any of events like that would be a little bit easier.
How long were we? They've been so bloody hard, haven't they? Like,
yeah. I don't. What is it? It's just like,
I think it's because we don't have a distraction. We don't have an endpoint. We don't have a focus. We don't have a blame. We can't say we feel shit because it's this, or you know, we've just got to get to this state. And actually, that's worse then, because it's just like, what am I controlling this against? You know, like,
yeah,
it's just hard, isn't it?
It is hard. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be a bit lighter and a bit not easier. I just thought it was going to be a bit lighter.
I just think it's been so sad. It's the only way I can describe how I felt. I've cried at the easiest of things. And I mean literally at the flick of a switch. I've got into the car to drive to work, and it's not even a song that's come on. It's not that I've passed Emily's school. It's just something hits me. And it's like a flick of a switch that I'm just, by the time I got to work, I'm sobbing.
Do you think it's because, well, I was thinking about this the other day, that I feel like maybe my brain's working a little bit better than it was, and I don't live in quite so much brain fog as I did, and I don't live quite so like condensed in a small little world as I did, and I'm starting to do more. Do you think it's because the world is still going on around us, yet we feel no different, and then that's so much harder to then carry these feelings through that, because it's just all the time I just think, oh my God, this is real.
Yeah. It's like you just said, your brain it's like you've had brain fog. It's like your brain has been on ice and the ice is melting and little bits of your brain's coming through, and then it's like it's doing its job and it's working, and you're like, oh my God, they're not here. And we've been on quite a few forums, haven't we, and talking to other parents and things like that. And I think one of the big things at the moment, one of the major triggers, is the going back to school.
Yeah.
And I know this doesn't cover people that have not lost children, but I think for the people that have lost children, it's an important thing to bring up. It's little things like the uniforms being in the supermarkets, they're going back to school stuff, going back to university or starting uni.
And those comments online of the, oh my God, I'm guilty of doing this. I'm not slating anybody at all for doing this, but at the end of the summer holidays being like, oh my God, can't wait for the kids to go back there, do it my head in, when actually you'd give anything to have any more time. And that's a perfectly natural parenting response at the end of 6 weeks when you had kids driving you insane.
Yeah.
But you just see it slightly differently, don't you? And it's all the back to school photos, and you just, for me, I either reminisce, that of Bradley when he used to do that. And I don't even know why it triggers me, because Bradley left school and he wasn't going back to school. And I've said it to you before, but
yeah, weirdly,
school uniform is a big trigger, and I just don't get it. So for those people who have lost children who were still, 6, 7, 8, in those school years that are very much in the middle of it, I can imagine that's such a triggering time. And
yeah, it's also that they've got years ahead of it.
Yeah,
I think ours will ease over the next couple of years.
Yeah,
because they'll be way past that age. But I think for somebody with a younger child,
but we'll probably hit new triggers. Then it will be marriage and kids and careers and those kind of things.
Yeah, there's always going to be triggers.
The school
don't
thing.
Need reminding of that today, Bec. Let's just deal with one thing at a time, please.
I know, such a bundle of joy.
I want my brain to go back on ice.
Yeah, such a bundle of joy. I do find that I'm kind of getting to recognise periods now where my body relaxes a little bit, where I don't feel such quite high cortisol levels and I don't have quite so much pain. But I'm only noticing them when they come back. So I'm not necessarily noticing that I'm not in that flight or fight or freeze state, but I'm noticing that I'm re-entering it again. So it's very much that I'm fluctuating in and out of it, but I don't think I'm sitting in fight or flight response time all the time.
Good.
Which,
Good.
Is a little bit better. But then when, I suppose it does hit, it still is like, oh my God, this is really happening. And just super sensitive and tearful.
Yeah, could cry at anything.
Yeah.
Cry at an advert and anything. Poem.
Yeah, no, I
gone back to reading them poems like we did at day one. What the hell?
I think a lot of it as well was, I kept telling myself that a lot of it was the weather, and that when the rain stopped and the sun came out and, it was going to instantly lift my mood and I was going to feel better. And then I didn't. And now I'm thinking, God, we've only got a few weeks of sunshine left. That didn't really work, did it?
So we don't need to dread the winter then, do we?
Well, I don't know.
Look at it a positive way. If the summer made no difference, we don't need to worry about the winter coming.
Yeah, maybe. Unless I'm just going to feel even worse.
Oh, that's a good way to feel, isn't it? You could just do more walking. We'll have to get you something you can get wrapped up.
I don't do the cold. I don't do the wet.
Well, it's tough, Shane. You're going to have to do the cold. You live in England.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You're a hardened walker now. You can do it.
Not sure I'll go that far.
Also, we get loads of emails now, don't we, of things. And if anybody wants to email us, that's great. If you want us to read anything out, if you want us to discuss your email, just let us know in it. Other than that, it'll be private.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were saying that it's a really sensitive subject, really, of people saying the wrong thing to somebody who's grieving. People upset us, and then we find ourselves apologising for people because they've upset us. It's just a tricky tricky
It is,
situation.
and I think it's really individual for each person as well, because I've noticed in the emails and the messages that we get from people that what one person finds suits them isn't always what suits somebody else. You know, some people like people to say nothing at all, and some people just want you to say anything, whether it's right or wrong. So actually that's really, really difficult, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But it's like, it's a typical example of that. We love to talk about our kids. But if you stopped my husband and even mentioned Emily's name,
he wouldn't cope.
He would be upset. He would cry, and he would probably wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, so then that's really difficult, isn't it, for people to learn?
It is difficult. But another thing is, what a really good point that one lady said. We're in this life now, we Google everything.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, oh, it's awkward, I don't know how to, to talk to somebody, Google it.
Yeah. Or even just ask me.
Yeah,
ask me.
Yeah.
What do I want you to talk about it? Do I want you to acknowledge it? Or do I, I mean...
How do you feel today?
Yeah.
Because also, we might want to talk about them that day, but the day after, we don't.
Yeah.
So it is just ask, like say, I've looked into it, I've Googled it, and it says this, that, and the other, but is that what you want me to do?
And, by doing that as well, you're acknowledging that thought process is there, and that care process is there, and that actually you are trying your best. And then, for me, that's like, oh, do you know what? They've tried. That's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things like be a good listener.
Yeah.
Let them know that you care, offer practical advice. There's all things like that. Don't try and fix us.
Yeah.
I mean, Google gets it wrong. Google actually said, I couldn't believe it, that it takes a griever between 14 and 24 months.
Oh, they put a time frame
to
on
heal.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're healed, do you?
24 months, we're healed. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would love to speak to whoever wrote that.
Yeah, it's a bit like you Google grief and the first things that comes up is the 5 stages, like you're supposed to go through a line of emotions and reach the end. I mean, that doesn't happen either, does it? God, if only there was only 5 stages, and this would all be over.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. I mean, it's a bit like, is it David Kessler that says, how long are you going to grieve for? Or how long are they going to be dead? I mean, the common sense is there, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, a lot of it's common sense, but a lot of it's still the same old platitudes that have, for years and years, have come out, or time is a great healer. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Doesn't change.
Yeah. Your loved ones are no longer in pain.
Well, I appreciate...
We are.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that Bradley's no longer in pain. I really do. But then I feel angry that he was ever in pain, that he ever had to go through that and suffer. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is. And they're in a better place.
Yeah, right.
No, they're not.
No, there'd be no better place for my son than here with me protecting him, I can assure you.
So, yeah, it is tricky for anybody out there that wants to help somebody that's grieving. But I think us grievers, maybe get it out there what we want.
Yeah, I think so.
How we want it.
And I think the most important thing for anybody is the doing. It's not the saying, it's the doing. It's show up. It's just, even if you just come and sit with me in silence, or you just come and sit with me and just talk about something else. And I think Natalie said it in Morgan's podcast a couple of weeks ago, when she said, just that touch on the shoulder, just that, that acknowledgement, Yeah. Actions speak so much louder than words, and they really do in grief,
Because you're not a hugger.
No.
I like a hug.
No, I'm not.
I love a hug off my brother. He's the best hugger in the world. I love but you don't.
I'm not tactile at all, no.
No? But I make you hug. I hugged you first time I met you.
Yeah, that was different. I'm not totally averse to a hug. I'll give you a hug every time I see you, and I'll hug you bye.
Yeah.
But
do you know I'm going to hug next time?
Who?
Zachary.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a hug coming, because us Northerners are good huggers.
He's just like his mum, yeah. He'll be a bit like...
Yeah. And I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to hug Niall, because that's like hugging a brick.
Even I don't want to hug. Why on earth would I want to hug someone that doesn't want to hug me back? That's like two really awkward people being like...
Yeah, enough.
It would be the way
video
thing. It would be the way thing.
I'm going to video it.
Yeah, I'm not very good at hugging, and then to force myself to hug someone who doesn't want to hug me back is just like,
do you know what I mean?
Do it.
Do you know what would be really funny?
What?
You need to go get a chair to stand on to hug him.
Yeah.
You're 5'2" and he's 6'4". Yeah.
He'd just pat me on the head. But, you know, and there's just lots of different things, different ways you can show up in grief, isn't there? It doesn't all have to be about words. And I think sometimes people focus too much on what to say when actually, you know, like I say, it's different for everybody, and there really is no right or wrong thing to say, I don't think. I mean, there's plenty of wrong things to say, but, you know, there's no ideal answer, is there?
No, well, there isn't an ideal answer. Just like you say, just showing up is the main thing, especially after the funeral when everybody's gone. And
or even now, like 14 months down the line, like, you know, life really does feel like it's slipping back to, you know, the way that it was before. And I'm very aware that Bradley isn't the forefront of everyone's mind all the time. And in a way, that's fine, because life still goes on for everybody else, and he can't be priority all the time. Like we saw Friends last night, and we spoke about Zachary a lot all night, and that's nice because, you know, the other kids need their moment too. But in amongst that normality is just the feeling that Bradley's being forgotten just because he's not here to be involved. And it's
like a panic,
yeah,
isn't it?
And the reality is he's not being forgotten. He's just not here, so he can't be involved in that. And it's like, it's just difficult because there isn't always that space to bring them into everything, because it's not always the right environment, and it's not always really necessary. And it's, you know, it can just make others feel a bit uncomfortable when you're forcing it a little bit, I think. But there's always just that niggling feeling of, well, it's not about him. And it's hard because, you know, I'm more than happy to talk about my other kids and to put them first. And, you know, they deserve that too. But, yeah, it's just because he's not here.
I do think I'm a little bit worried that I'm losing my ability to steer the conversation about Emily within so many seconds of a conversation.
Yeah.
I need to practice that.
No, I think you do all right. How many people have you made cry this week?
4/5. Oh, if the tears are just brimming on the...
That's fine. I've not made anybody
okay.
cry, so... you know, I mean, yeah, like you do, you're a perfect PR network person. I couldn't need anyone any better, really. There isn't a single soul on this earth that doesn't get to know about Bradley and Emily and everything that we do, so it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we don't push ourselves. On our podcast, we've been told we need to keep saying,
yes,
like and subscribe, that we don't say that. But we're not pros, you know. We just...
Yeah. So like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Because apparently it does something to the algorithms and it pushes us out to more people. And then the more people that we can help is amazing, because we didn't do this to put ourselves in front of loads of people, but the feedback that we're getting from those people that are watching it would just be amazing if we could help more people and be of a support to more people, wouldn't it? And you mentioned earlier about the email. The email address is roomtogrievepodcast@gmail.com. I mean, we're not fancy. We don't pay for any email addresses. It's just a free Google one, but it works and it serves purpose.
Yeah, just the same thing, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So we had messages all the way from Australia saying they're worried about me.
Yeah.
That I wasn't getting any sleep. Do you know what? Even my husband had not noticed I wasn't getting any sleep. I was really touched about that.
Yeah, we've had quite a few messages from people being concerned about you.
It's because I look like shit on my last
I did think that. I did think, God, did she look that rough? But that's just... But no, seriously, that is just so lovely that people care and take the effort, you know, to message and to care about us too. And it's just cute.
Do you know I've slept every night this week? I've slept for 7 nights.
I said to Simon yesterday, and I said that to Simon yesterday, that I noticed that you've been sleeping. So what do you think it is?
I left my phone and my iPad downstairs.
Okay. So you haven't got the distraction.
Yeah. And I read a magazine. I read like 2 pages of a magazine. I have a thing, my guilty pleasure are home magazines.
Okay.
And they're so expensive for what they are. They're just full of adverts. They're crap, really. But, it's just the smell of the magazine and the new magazines, turn the pages. Like, sad, aren't I?
No, that's good. And also, you've been to work this week. And work is really tiring, and work makes me exhausted, and I sleep after,
It's not the work that's tiring, it's the fact that you have to do everything else as well. Yeah. I mean, like this morning, it's Sunday today, and my house is an absolute shit tit because I haven't done it.
Yeah.
And there's only me that will do it. Yeah. Even though I was working, and I'm back in work tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. It's all still here. I'm going away for, nearly 3 weeks on Tuesday, so I've got to get 3 weeks' worth of meals ready.
Yeah.
For you know who.
Yeah.
And it's like, got to do all that, so can somebody help me do some of the other things?
No.
So there's my moan of the day.
Don't be silly. Yesterday morning, I asked Simon on Friday night, I said, can I have a little bit of a lay? And I'm absolutely exhausted. I really just don't want to get up. And I heard Simon get up about 7ish with the dog, and I thought, okay, he's gonna go out with the dog. That's fine. I'll just lay here for a bit. 10 to 8, Zachary knocks on the door. It's like, what? He was like, can I come in? I was like, yeah. And he goes in the ensuite and he's looking around. I said, what are you looking for? He said, a wire brush. I said, a wire brush. What do you want a wire brush for? He said, well, a wire thing. I said, I have no idea what you're asking for, mate. He said, the little yellow sponges with the green bit on the top? I said, yeah. He said, I want one of them. I said, try looking underneath.
Scourer?
Yeah. I said, try looking underneath the fucking kitchen sink. What on earth are you waking me up in my bedroom for? He was like, all right, okay, thanks. And you think, well, Pango is my life. You think, fucking dad is downstairs in the kitchen. Why did he just come and wake me up? Ask him. Like, why do they do it? So, yeah, bang went my lion. That didn't last very long.
So I think we need a bit of male perspective on our podcast.
We do. Because I do think that grief is different for men. In witnessing Rob and Simon and, Zachary and Niall, and comparing Zachary and Niall to my girls, like, all of the men are very different. Yeah. I'd love to hear it from their perspective. We give lots of thoughts about what we think and about what we feel people should do and people should say and stuff. But I do wonder what goes around their brains sometimes.
But anybody who's lost somebody, anybody who would like to be a guest, we promise we won't make you cry.
Well, we can't promise that. I think we cry in every episode. I think this is the only episode we haven't cried in. Yeah, no, we cry in every single episode. But that's okay, because that's the reality of it, isn't it? Is that it's shit, and and we're going to cry.
All of our guests, we just talk and we have to cut so much out because we would just talk for hours. And most of them say it's felt like therapy.
But we always say that for us, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And it is. I think it's actually better. I'm not saying that we're better than professionals, but
it's more cathartic, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because it comes without expectation. Whereas I think when you go to a professional, I mean, I don't have therapy, but for me, I feel like if I was told to go and see a therapist or a counsellor, I would go a bit guarded. I would go with expectations, and I would go with a bit of fear, and I would go with a bit of a wall up. Whereas when I just sit and chat to you, it's just free flow.
God, you're a weirdo.
Do you not think?
No, I'd want my money's worth about a therapist and have it all wrote down before I got there.
Do you know what? That really doesn't surprise me. I would go totally guarded and be like, go on in.
Well, what's the point?
Because
you want help?
Because in my mind, I'd have to second guess exactly what they think of me and what they're trying to get out of me first. It would be a mind game, and there'd be no way that I would tell them anything until I knew what their end goal was. This is my deep-rooted trust issues. I don't believe anybody's ever there to truly help you. So there will be a gain in it for them too. So I'd have to figure out what that was. Yeah, I thought everybody was a little bit nervous about going to a therapist. That's really surprised me. Genuinely, that has really surprised me.
Do you remember? Oh, no, don't say you don't remember that you're not old enough.
It depends
Fawlty
what you're going to...
Towers, when they had the psychiatrist staying in the hotel.
I've never watched Fawlty Towers, but I am old enough to know what it is. I don't watch telly full stop, do I? I don't watch anything.
Oh, but it's classic. Em loved Fawlty Towers.
No,
she knew every single single episode, word for word.
No, but I'm not a TV person, am I? There's not much you can ask me if I've watched on telly that I've seen.
What do you do?
Research shit. I'm a bit sad, aren't I? I love to learn.
Oh, poor Rob. He wants to go and see Aliens, the new film at the cinema, and that's what Emily would go and watch with him.
Will Niall not go?
No, I'm not going. Boringness.
Yeah, it's not.
Boringness.
Yeah, it's not. It's not for me. I can't even offer Simon because Simon is proper scared of any horror film, scary things.
Really?
Like, see, I read a lot. I like to research stuff and I read lots of stuff and I just like to learn. I just don't. My brain, I couldn't sit and watch something for that long. I don't have capacity to. I think it's well because I'm a bit deaf. I don't
A bit deaf? You're as deaf as a post.
Well, exactly. I don't understand very well, and so there's a lot of things in programs that I miss. Like what you don't think as a hearing person is that in so many films there is so much that's said that isn't on the screen.
Well, right.
And or if people turn their face away from the screen, so if it's not somebody looking at the camera, I don't understand what's being said. So there's so much in movies that I miss. When people react to stuff that's going on in the background, well, I don't hear it because I don't know it's there. So then, movies don't really make a great deal of sense to me because I don't really understand what's going on because there's a lot they don't always just film people like me and you are now. So I miss lots.
I can't believe how you got through life before you got your hearing aids.
Yeah. I just learned to read people quite well. But I did say to Simon this morning, he was talking to me this morning when I woke up and I hadn't put my hearing aids in. And I was like, I really can't hear you. I was like, now I'm got so used to having hearing aids. I'd really struggle to hear when I take them out. And I think, how on earth did I cope with it before I had them?
I was only thinking that yesterday.
I really do struggle.
Because you went a long time before you got decent hearing aids.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my type of hearing loss for years, they couldn't help with hearing aids but now there's been all improvements in science and stuff. And they genuinely do make a world of difference for me that now I can't remember life without them. But anyway, this is supposed to be a grief podcast, not about how a deaf person.
Right.
And about how frigging weird I am, because seems I'm out there on my own. Does anyone else get a little bit nervous about therapists and a bit guarded with therapists, or do you all go to get your money's worth like Karen? I'm a little bit perplexed at that. Genuinely thought most people would go with their cards close to their chest. Why would you play your hand? I don't get it.
I just don't see the point in going like that. You're not going to get enough out of it.
Because if they're not going to help me, I'm certainly not telling them. So I need to figure out whether they're going to help me first.
But how can they help you if you don't tell them?
Well, first of all, if they're only going to offer me 6 sessions, I've got far too much shit going on in my head, so you ain't helping me, so I ain't telling you. No, is that not how it works? Okay.
No, it's not.
Oh.
God, you'd be a therapist dream, you.
Honestly. I mean, I did have link therapy once during COVID.
What's that?
It's a bit like CBT. But it's a bit like you just do it on Zoom like this and they just talk to you and they basically just say, when you feel this emotion, tell me what you feel in your body and where it starts, and you recognise where it starts. And the whole time I was just doing the whole therapist thing on her and she was just like, I'm sick of talking to you, because she'd say to me something and I'd be like, I see what you're getting at there. What you're actually asking me to do is this, isn't it? And she'd be like, will you just stop second guessing everything? And I was like, but I'm right there, aren't I? She was like, well, maybe. And I was like, well, then what's the point? Why don't you just come out and it's that indirectness that I can't stand. Why don't you just tell me that's what you were doing? Don't ask me to do these stupid, and that's how my brain works. I just second guess everybody all the time.
I know when I had my, is it EMDR or EDMR? I always get them whichever way it is. I know I had that. It was brilliant. Totally and utterly worked for a trauma event. But when he was doing it and he was doing this, he had to follow his hand, and then he said, what do you think now? I mean, John's going to come on. He's fantastic. He's going to do a podcast with us, and he can explain everything that goes on. He's brilliant. But this particular day he's doing that, and he said, "And what do you think now?" He said, "Is this something coming up?" And I said, "Where are we at now?" I went, "I'm really worried." He said, "Right, okay, what you worried about?" I said, "I'm worried that your arm's going to ache if you keep doing that." And he went, "Is that what you're worried about?" I went, "Yeah." But I was. So we had to start from scratch, because apparently I shouldn't have been worried about that. But I was. But how long is he going to keep that up for?
You see, that's what would have gone through my mind.
That's what's up. Yeah. I get you there, yeah. But then you just have to zone out and just go with it. And just think, if this is going to work, if this is going to help me, which it did enormously.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Then I've got to just let it happen, and you got to trust somebody to do that. It's just finding the right person that you can trust.
Yeah.
And I think you'd probably know instantly, think, no, don't like these.
Yeah, I do, pretty much.
Yeah, because you can talk to somebody and think, are you reading that off a piece of paper?
Yeah, I think, oh, you don't get it.
No.
Me, I'd have to talk to somebody that really did understand what I'd been through. So I think for me...
Would you have to talk to somebody who's lost somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to... Yeah, they would have to be able to be totally empathetic with me and resonate with me on the same level. I don't want no platitudes and no textbook answers, because, I couldn't. That would annoy me.
Yeah.
I've read enough literature online to know when you're reading out of that textbook, because I read it too. I don't come at me with textbook. I want sincerity. I want genuine answers.
Yeah. And empathy and knowledge.
Yeah.
And help.
So do you think that's why I've not ever been offered any counselling or therapy, because they just think I'm beyond help?
Yeah, pretty much.
So instead, you get stuck with me. So anyway, enough of my therapy issues. It wasn't what we came on to discuss today, was it? We just wanted to do a short one, really, because we're pretty bad at telling people to like and subscribe. We wanted to share the email address, roomtogrievepodcast@gmail.com, for more of you to get in touch, because it actually makes our day to get those emails. Like, we get a little bit excited about them, don't we? And text each other pretty quick.
Yeah.
And also, let us know what sort of guests that you want to have on. I mean, to be fair, the majority of our episodes have done really well, and we're really fortunate and we're really lucky. But we've had a few different style of guests on. Do you want to hear more about other people's stories? Do you want to hear more from sort of professionals in the field? Or, is everyone just still happy with the kind of eclectic mix that we're throwing at you at the moment? So yeah, it's just a bit more of a chat, just to say hi, and that us two are still here, isn't it? And just to engage with everybody, really. Yeah. And to say thank you. Because, this gives us a great purpose. It gives us a great distraction. It gives us something to do. And I think, honestly, we'd both be lost without it, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's sort of, dare I say it, taking over my life.
Yeah, but in a good way. In a good way.
In a very good way. Yeah.
And if we didn't have people, the listeners out there listening to us and supporting us and sharing it and spreading that wider, then, we wouldn't really have so much need to do it. And so we're just really grateful. We just feel really thankful, don't we, for that.
Somebody came into our reception the other day and said they felt like they should ask for my autograph.
Oh,
yeah. That's
Shall I tell you
that it was your dad, so it doesn't really count.
It was my dad. Did you give him your autograph? Oh, bless him.
No, I just give him a bill.
Oh, bless him. He doesn't ask me for my autographs, but hey. Oh, that's cute. But yeah.
Right, so it's a nice short one this week. So we'll catch up again next week.
Yeah, and we'll have some guests on again next week. So I think we'll just do the usual tagline. We'll finish it all here. Like, subscribe, email us. Yeah. And go grab yourself a cuppa, find a comfortable spot, and we'll journey through grief together. Thank you.
Bye.